That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Welcome to Trade Talk. This week we're talking about Captain America Black Panther, Flags of Our Fathers. You thought I was done with Black Panther because I thought I was done with Black Panther, but it turns out we still had one more volume by Reginald Hudlin. I forgot this existed. It's a prequel to the run, really. It doesn't have anything to do with the power or the Doom War or anything like that. This takes place in the Marvel Universe in World War II and documents the time that Captain America and the Howling Commandos met the Black Panther. What's interesting is if you watch the Black Panther Marvel Knights animated series motion comic, they show what's his name? They show Steve Rogers, walking through the jungles of Wakanda, and he like comes across the dead Nazis and ends up getting in a fight with Black Panther, and that's shown. There's like a panel showing Black Panther fighting Captain America in World War II, but it's literally just one panel, and then the animated series shows like a whole scene of like why they started fighting and all that stuff. That scene comes from this. That's where this happened at. Is Captain America and the Howling Commandos were in Wakanda, and then Cap comes across a bunch of dead Nazis, and Black Panther shows up and tells him, "Okay, go home." And it's got like this really neat dialogue. Like Black Panther is just always such a badass. Uh, okay, I am king here. You do not make demands. Well, pardon me, your highness. Maybe you just lop off the head of every newcomer around here. If we did that, this conversation would be over. But those Nazis were here for a reason. The Germans came to steal our vibranium, the metal that can only be found here in Wakanda. Hitler needs it for the next generation of their missile systems, as do you. These are dangerous times. You need to choose a side. We have our own. And then they like start fighting, and Cap gets his ass handed to him, which is neat. It's cool. I like that. That's a neat scene. Like seeing Red Skull in full Nazi garb. That's always a neat look. So anyway, the Howling Commandos are eventually welcomed into Wakanda to experience its culture, since they arrived as friends and not enemies. But they're told, no, we're not going to help you win this war or anything. And the Germans actually try to attack Wakanda, but just get absolutely annihilated. And the whole time the battle's going on, the Howling Commandos are like, let us go out there, let us fight, let us help you. And they're told, no, no, no. It's too dangerous for you. And then after the battle's like all said and done, they finally go, okay, you can come out now. We do need your help. They're like, must be a real mess if you finally are resorting to us. And so they rush out onto the battlefield ready to fight. And all it is just a field of corpses with Black Panther and Captain America standing over it. It's like, yes, if you could please help pick up all the dead Nazis. That would be great. Nothing makes me smile quite like a field of dead Nazis with Black Panther and Captain America standing over it. Thank you for that, Reginald Hudlin. And the art looks really cool there. I love Captain America with the classic shield. The Black Panther with these frickin' scythe things looks badass. And just shitloads of dead Nazis. Man. It's like, what do you want? What more do you want in the morning? Is there any better way to wake up than with a bunch of dead Nazis? Think about it. Now stop thinking about it. Now think about it again, but deeply. Anyway, Yeah, so I like that scene. The art's really cool. It's really creepy. It's got this unnerviness to it. Hmm. So we got some Nazi villains. We got what's her name? What's his name? Masterman, Warrior Woman, and Tiger Man. I'm really curious if those are original like 40s characters that were like like original Golden Age villains of Captain America, when he was like fighting the Nazis and stuff like that, or if not, original 40s villains, maybe stuff that was coming out shortly after that era. Because for a while, like comics still tried to have the heroes like fighting Nazis, like they're just kind of frozen in that era for a little bit, and then or they were like fighting defeated Nazis, like trying to rebuild the Third Reich, all that stuff. It's always, you know, that's an area for storytelling, but it does get a little old after a while. So, anyways, Wakanda is invaded by the Nazis again, this time using their superpowered allies. Get a reference to Doctor Strangelove. I always like my references to Doctor Strangelove's. What is it the Americans say? Yippee-ki-yay? Let's see, what year did this come out? I'm curious. Because I'm wondering if that's a Quentin Tarantino reference there. What is it you Americans say? That's a bingo. It's just bingo. Oh, bingo. Oh, the awkwardness of that scene. He's like, Hans is sitting there like, the Jewel Hunter. Or is it the Jew Hawk? I can't remember what his character's name was. I cannot find a year of release here. So, could be. Could just be two people thinking of like a similar wording. It's not exceptionally iconic. Otherwise, it's kind of just the rest of the thing is just, Cap and the Wakandans fighting off Nazis and killing them. That's cool. There's a subplot about a guy named Gabriel who has orders from Nick Fury to steal a piece of vibranium, and he's like kind of he's morally conflicted here because he really loves Wakanda. It seems to be this great place, and he's a black soldier. The book is very aware of what it's writing, the era it's taking place in, and how black people were treated then. This is the first page of the book. Is a black soldier in World War II saying, "I hate Nazis. Fortunately, I hang out with guys who feel the same way. The Howling Commandos are getting a reputation." When Fury put this squad together, he had his pick of the litter. Warhorse like him, he didn't care that the army wasn't integrated yet. He just wanted guys who could knock a Nazi's block off. I'm the first Negro to kill Nazis alongside white American soldiers, and I like my work. Solid writing. That's a cool context to put everything in. In this story where we have American soldiers going to Wakanda, and he's given a mission to do something for his country that doesn't really want to take much ownership of him against this nation that just right away is treating him better than literally he's ever been treated in his own country that he's currently fighting and getting ready to die for. That's a neat scene. That's a effective scene. I quite enjoyed that. Would it just be me? Would anyone else read a Black Panther legacy book? Like not like or Black Panther anthology book? I think that could be really fascinating to get to read a book that's just stories of Black Panthers throughout history. I think that could be a lot of fun. This kind of lays the groundwork for that, because you get the sense that becoming the Black Panther adds a certain weight to who you are, to how you act, to the way you behave. Like, there's obviously a regalness to it and everything, but it seems to add a grace and a very particular persona. T'Challa, Shuri both seem to act very similarly as the Black Panther, and the guy who's Black Panther in this book, who's T'Chaka's father, is this T'Challa's grandfather, really seems to be very much the same way. Trying to find where they say his name. They only say his name, like, officially a couple times, otherwise they just call him Black Panther. I can't. I'm not going to look through to find it right now. But anyway, like, I'd read stuff like this where it's just, it seems like there's a consistent kind of character to who's ever in the role of Black Panther. And I could totally buy that. That would make actually a lot of sense, particularly with the way Hudlin talks about it, wherein you get the spirit of the Panther. And like the few things we've read or seen with previous Black Panthers has been really, really interesting. I'd read the hell out of that. That would just be a great way for Marvel to do something that's like, hey, look, it's not gonna be affected left and right by every single little hiccup in our universe. Please. Please. Yeah, I like that. Red Skulls and a giant spider war mech Nazi bot. It's kind of cool. There's a neat little section of narration from Gabe as he's running away from an explosion inside the vibranium mine. This is weird. I feel the heat on my back, but I can't hear a damn thing. I think I figured out how this vibranium thing works. I want to look back to see how close it is, but that might slow me down enough for the heat to roast my eyeballs. I don't know, that's a neat idea, because vibranium's whole thing is it absorbs sound, it absorbs vibrations, so if you were running away from an explosion, you wouldn't hear the sound of the explosion, you'd just be running away from the blast. That's kind of neat. Otherwise, Black Panther kills 2 Nazi superheroes. Or supervillains, I guess. To their own side, they're heroes. It's one of those things, whatever. Yeah. Neat. We get a tease about Nick Fury losing his eye here, but that doesn't end up happening. He just gets slashed across the chest. Of all the covers we see, this is by far my favorite image. Oh, it's not even a cover. This is just a full-page spread. I really like that. That's cool. Captain America and Black Panther jumping out of a plane. Coming straight for the ground. That's cool. Yeah. Enjoying the hell out of this. I'm a little disappointed that, like, they actively choose not to give the Americans vibranium. Rightly so. But Cap, at the end of this, gets his round shield. I don't like that. Like, I feel like if we're gonna give this as the origin of where Cap gets his round shield from, it should be a vibranium shield. He should have gotten the vibranium from Wakanda. It would have been, it's interesting because he and the Black Panther here develop a relationship, and the Black Panther realizes he is a good man. But to put this? There's this underlying mistrust of the American government and this subplot about them wanting to steal vibranium, like Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos wanting to steal vibranium for American weapons development. And this makes a lot of context, like not even criticizing America kind of situation. This makes a lot of sense in the context of World War II, where like literally everything was on the line. People were trying batshit crazy things. Like look up some of the wacky weapons experiments from World War II. It's ridiculous. So it would make sense that like if this mystical substance like vibranium were to come into play, that both sides would be spending countless resources trying to get a hold of it. But I feel if you're gonna go so far as to give Cap the round shield, it should be like the Black Panther that hands it to him personally and says, "This is yours. This is not your government's." That would be something I feel would be a little bit more on point, a little bit better. Because, like, what is this scene at the end? Like the new look, Cap, but that shield looks great. Nice, isn't it? Got the idea from a friend of mine in Africa. Africa? You got friends everywhere. That's where we need them. Like, it doesn't... None of the context in that seems like it's a vibranium circular shield. So, yeah, I just would have preferred it if it were a little more trusting of Captain America, but not America kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. Solid book, though. I certainly enjoyed myself. Conclusion of the character arc that Gabe goes through is pretty interesting. It's not that I don't appreciate... Like, they offer him Wakandan citizenship. And he says, it's not that I don't appreciate the offer of citizenship, but even if I lived here, I'd still want to fight this fight. And when I get home, I gotta fight that fight too. I can't leave everyone else behind. Fair enough. Remember, if you need me, I'll be there. Thanks. And there may be times when I call on you as well. I figured that. I'm cool with that too. If we don't watch each other's backs, who will? I like that. That was a neat resolution to his character arc. There's also this scene with Nick Fury talking to his superiors about how Captain America performed on his mission, in which he like refused to steal vibranium from Wakandans, and like we get this like flashback exchange between Cap and Nick. I like you, Nick, but if we're going to work together, you need to never ask me to do something like that again. It's war, Cap. I do what they tell me. I'm not betraying allies, and that's that. And so Nick Fury says to this board of military generals, I think he might be better served with a partner, one that will conduct black ops without hesitation. That way his image can remain unsullied while the necessary things get done. That's a cool scene. I like that there's, we get to have this idea of that's why Bucky's put in and stuff like that. Solid book. A lot of fun. Better way to leave off the Hudlin Black Panther run than the Power book, which of course he didn't have much to do with. Also, I really like the spiritual conclusion that it gets in the volume before Deadliest of the Species. Name escapes me at the moment. But anyway, that will do it for this episode of Trade Talk, so please tune in next time for the next episode. I can tease that. I got a number of things to pick from, so since I'm actually broadcasting live here, let's see what the live audience is like and see what they would like me to review next time. So live audience, prepare to comment. I've got this really tiny little adorable Zorro comic. I've got Mr. Miracle, the original 12-issue Jack Kirby run. I've got Star Wars Yoda's Secret War. And I've got, by request, Thor, God of Thunder. Volume 1, God Killer. Oh, no, the God Butcher, sorry. Anyway, what should I review next week? Since I've finally finished the Black Panther series, what would you like me to talk about next time? Let's see if I can get these all to stand up or not. And goes off the screen. Ta-da! Anything? No comments? Oh. We'll wait a little bit to see if we get comments. It says I got 3 people still watching. I'd hope that they're paying attention. Oh well. Next week it'll be one of these. We'll see which one. Oh, Matthew Bennett says Zorro. Deal. Haha. Tiny Zorro book. That'll be a quick one. Alright. Funny story behind this. I bought it not realizing it was tiny. I bought it online. But it is a graphic novel written by Don McGregor. I just don't understand why it's so small. Anyway, that'll do it for this week's episode of Comic Reviews. Thank you very much for watching. And thank you very much for watching Trade Talk. Bye!
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.